Today we're going to talk about the different kinds of lights to use inside your garden. There's a few things you need to consider, and you're replacing the sun, so it's kind of important.
But Krista, there's so many different types of lights. There's the metal halide, the high pressure sodium, T5. How do I know what I need?
Well, they all sort of have different functions and different strengths and weaknesses. Your metal halide and your HPS are sort of your old school, quote unquote, traditional high intensity grow lights. You're going to use metal halide for plants that are in their vegetative state of growth, or even for ones that don't need to flower. So if you want to grow a whole bunch of herbs, a nice metal halide light does a good job. If you are trying to grow tomatoes or some other flowering plants, HPS comes into play because this is what tells your plant to produce flowers. So without this color of light, you're not going to get as many flowers, as high yield as you could if you didn't use it.
So the plant cycle and everything is dependent on the spectrum of the light with the color?
Yes, to a certain degree, yes. If you think about a growing season outside, you start the season with, lots of afternoon sun, which is a lot whiter, bluer, and then as fall comes, you're getting a whole lot more yellow light, and in fall is when all of our plants put out their flowers. So that is the color of light that signals to your plant, hey, it's time for me to make some babies.
Well, perfect. So energy is very important nowadays. We really want to be energy efficient, good to the environment.
Sure.
Which lights are the best for that?
Well, these tend to chew up a little bit of energy. Right here, these, for instance, are 1,000 watts. You can get smaller, but that is going to draw 1,000 watts. So you're looking at $30, $40 a month, depending on the price of electricity when you're running these types of lights. You could choose LEDs, which are far more energy efficient. However, there's a much higher cost up front, but they will save you roughly half on power. So that's something to consider. And you can get the nice different colors with LEDs too. CFL lights or T5s, they work really, really well just for vegetative growth. They don't have a whole lot of power if you want to flower under them, unless you have a whole bunch of them. So you're not saving yourself too much money going that way trying to flower a plant under a CFL.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's say I want to start my garden inside.
Yes.
What do I need to know about how many lights I need? What's the average coverage for a light?
Well, again, it sort of depends on what you're trying to grow. I know. But if you're growing something that just requires leafy, lettuces, herbs, things like that doesn't need to set fruit or flower, you can absolutely get away with just a few of your CFL bulbs. Some of these higher wattage ones would cover a nice 2x2 or 2x3 section, and you could grow some really great lettuce and herbs.
Perfect. So just a little math in there.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to grow some tomatoes or something that requires more energy, you're looking at 1,000 watts will cover to flower about a 4x4, 4.5 by 4.5, depending on how much reflection you've got in there.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's a little bit of planning, and remembering that your job here is to replace the sun. So, you want to dedicate as much of your budget as you can to the light, and maybe find some other ways to make it a little more cost effective as well.
It's definitely worth it to have homegrown everything.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely.
Better.
That covers the basics. If you have any other questions, you can certainly feel free to drop a comment or come on into the store. We're all pretty knowledgeable on this stuff, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
I learned so much in this 5 minutes, Krista.
5 minutes.
You're amazing.
That's all it takes.
So, Krista, if my memory's all foggy, I forget all this.
Yes.
Where can I get the information again?
ScottsNursery.tv. Like, subscribe, and learn.